Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where last episode we had a significant breakthrough in Scandinavia, which allowed us to push all the way to here. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to push over the mess of straits over here yet. We used that, however, to shift troops down to the Navarrese front, which is now collapsed, and we need to take over these couple of areas over here, and we need to actually get across these straits and get Scandinavia to actually surrender. That would be very nice. I'm going to head down over here. I'm going to grab this army. I don't know how many troops we can actually run a naval invasion on. Is it unlimited at this point? I don't even remember. We're going to grab one here, and we're going to start an invasion of this area over here, but we also need this island here. So I'm just going to drop 24 divisions on that. And then this is also a unit with no orders, so we're going to start up a naval invasion order right up over here, just like that. Okay, so that looks good for the moment. We might need more. We might need to launch an invasion out over here or something, or almost certainly launch an invasion in over here. But it's going to take a while to get all of this prepared. So if we check here, we can see 157 days, 126 days, 157, 157, and 126. Now, if we went for smaller force sizes, that would go faster, obviously. But I think I'm willing to wait it out. It'll take us some time to get shifted around anyway, and we can start thinking about justifying on some of these others at this point. So like Z03 over here, yeah, we can justify on them. So let's go ahead and get started on that. That'll only take 25 days, remarkably. And there's also $1 over here that we can also justify on. So we can get started on that. That'll take 85 days. So that seems good. And I'm just going to have these infantry come down over here like this. And I'm going to grab like 2 of them. And they're going to hang out down over here at this front. And then we'll have another one of these units that has no orders come over here to $1 like this. Cool. And we've still got 5 armies that don't have orders. So that looks good for the moment. I'm going to move our reserve unit back over to where it's supposed to be. There's no available land route there, and that's understood. I'm just going to tell them hang out down here for right now. Okay, so that looks good for the moment. Excellent. So we might not have our forces in position for Z03 by the time this is done. This was such a short justification. 25 days. We'll see. We'll see if they're there in time. So we're continuing to try to attack out over here, and we're not making very much headway over here. This isn't very surprising, to be honest. We're just going to continue to work on wearing them down. And in the meantime, of course, we need to get all of that naval invasion nonsense taken care of. Looks like we are arriving out over here, so these guys are going to be offensive lining here, and these 2 units, they're just going to offensive line down over here, and they can go ahead and execute that. And then these guys, they are going to be offensive lining, just technically I wanted to have this as well. There we go. Straight down like that. And they can execute that. Perfect. Officer Corps roles. Sure, you can be an infantry specialist. That sounds fine. And you can be an infantry specialist as well. That sounds fine. So we can grab ourselves infantry expert here and here as well. And this guy can probably take, I guess, guerrilla fighter is probably okay. Movement speed on land is pretty good too. Both of those are good. I'm going to take fortress buster here, and that looks good. And then this guy, he's a tank commander. We can grab a preferred tactic here. We're going to go for blitz. And then he is going to be probably a fortress buster. Excellent. Then we've got this guy out over here, and he can take a preferred tactic. He is one of these guys. Is an infantry commander, and we're going to go with, like, elastic defense. Okay, cool. So that seems fine. Our justification is done for conquering Nigeria, which is actually Z03. And we are, at this point, going to do this. And this war's over. There's nothing they can do about it. They joined the Middle Eastern Confederation, but there's no shockers there. So that looks fine. That is now completed. And we're just waiting on all of these to finish up. So we do still have naval control down over here, in theory, anyway. I mean, it's not much naval control, is it? These guys are only active in the one region. I'm going to move them over to here to help out. Scandinavia has a lot of ships over here, actually. Interesting. These guys have no accessible regions. So I'm going to just have them be right up over here. That will be absolutely fine. Cool. So just help out with that, and that seems okay. Sure. We have the worst ships imaginable, but we're making it work. So they're continuing to try to attack us out over here. Now we have options. We can nuke this if we really wanted to. I prefer to avoid that, so I'm going to try the naval invasion route first, and if it looks like we don't have a path in via naval invasion, which I suspect we do, if it looks like we don't have a path in, then we can always resort to things like nuclear devices. That'll be fine. So for now, we can see that this is, you know, about a third done, and Wandala is going to fall fairly soon. We have Z03 still struggling out over here. We're working on it. I'm not in a rush. This is fine. We're just slowly whittling them down, and there's not much they can do about it. What do we have for supplies out over here anyway? I didn't even look at that. It's actually completely fine. There's no issue here. I'll just motorize these hubs, and it's glorious. Okay, so that all looks good for now, and we'll get them stack wiped very shortly here. Yeah, there they go. Excellent. So they're all gone now, and they will capitulate momentarily. Okay, I want to grab this army, and they're just going to reposition down over here. I just don't want them eating up the supplies out over this way. So that seems fine. Actually, South Africa is a thing that exists, but it's going to be awkward for us to get to that before we fight France. So maybe we'll hold off on that. We may want to have these guys start coming out over this direction and start thinking about a justification out over here. So we can select half of these. Actually, I want to select this entire army. Thank you very much. The whole army, please. Not just 23 of them. And we're going to tell them to come out over here, select half, and the other half is going to come out over here, like this. Okay. And their overall plan is, of course, going to be to offensive line all the way through here. Like, just take everything. Just take it. There you go. So that'll be fine, and we'll start justifying on this. So that's going to take 150 days or 180 days. I'm going to go for the longer one, although we really don't have a reason to. Z03 has capitulated, and that seems fine. Okay, so we'll get burned through Wandala very soon. It's about another 60 days after that first war was declared, so that is fine. We can see our preparations are proceeding nicely. We're at 73, 74, so we're about halfway done with most of our preparation for these naval invasions. So that is looking good. As far as the actual attacks over here go, I'm noticing that our fighting strength is kind of on the low side. Are we short on tanks? $226 needed for reinforcement, but what's our stockpile number? No, we're not short on tanks. This is a distribution issue. Okay. I'll motorize these hubs back over here to hopefully help out with that a little bit. But I think the issue is this up over here. We're diverting supplies here, here, and here. I'm pretty sure that's the issue. So I'm going to tell these guys to no longer aggressively attack, and we're going to go down to balanced attack for now. Okay, so we're just not really going to pressure here very hard at this moment. They can attack us. That's absolutely fine. But I'm just going to hang out like this for a few days, and we'll let them wonder what's going on. Because we have irons in the fire on this, and that looks absolutely fine. Now, I'd love to attack these guys. Unfortunately, we don't have a way to get to them. So that's, you know, exciting. I don't think we can even paratroop in. Yeah, all of these provinces are impassable, so we can't do anything about Ahagar here. There's just nothing we can do. We could maybe... Their flag is Canada. I remember noting that before, but I was still surprised by it this time. Hilarious. I'm going to improve relations with them. We might find a way to do something here. Can we not improve relations? Oh, here it is. I'm just blind. Fantastic. So we'll work on that, and we'll see if that gets anything in terms of diplomatic options. I wouldn't mind, like, bringing them into our faction or diplo-vassalizing them, but that's not a thing in Hoi. So that would be ideal to diplo-vassalize, but we're going to go back to clearing out some of this out over here because we're very much in a holding pattern with the war with Scandinavia right now. We need to allow our tanks to replenish a little bit, which they're very much doing. And we'll probably go back to attacking over here pretty soon. Our justification of conquering Nigeria is finished. This is the same region we justified on previously. I'm just going to go ahead and declare this war, and there we go. The war's over. There's nothing they can do. They joined the Middle Eastern Confederation, to no one's surprise, and this is absolutely over. They have capitulated, and this army is now going to start moving out over, if I can select the whole army, thank you, is going to start moving out over to like Z34 over here would be a decent target, so we can start going for that. Yeah, this looks good. 85 days. Let's get that underway. Okay, so that looks fine for now. They're continuing to attack across this strait, which is not good for their manpower, but I'm assuming they've built some back up. Yeah, 124 to 226. They're on all-adult serve, so they were mobilizing up for a little while. I'm not sure if they still are. Let's find out. We're almost to the month tick here. So they're at 93 to 191. And here's the month tick. That doesn't seem to have moved very much, but it may be moved a little bit. So they may still be mobilizing. We'll see. For now, of course, our primary focus is on getting these invasions dealt with. Now, we don't have the ability to actually launch these invasions out over here. And this is because we don't have... Okay, none of our fleets are out over here right now. That's exciting. We've got these 4 submarines here, and I would like them to actually no longer be in the Western Mediterranean. I'm going to move them over to the lower Baltic. Submarines can move through this, I think. No, they can't, actually. Never mind. Submarines cannot move through that. Okay. So that's understood. We'll continue to work down over here. We can see they are pouring their naval supremacy in here. We don't have anyone up over here right now. And to that end, most of our ships are repairing. Again, we have the worst ships. Literally the worst possible ships. So that's something that we should definitely consider. They have a lot of little fleets in this area, like a ridiculous amount of little fleets. And one thing I'm thinking about doing is just taking all of our fleets here, every single one of them, or at least these, and moving them out over this way, right? Telling them, just go ahead and do what you're going to do out over here. You're going to head up over this direction because we want to have control, very solid control, right up over here. So all of these fleets are going to head up here. Okay. No accessible regions for you, huh? Why don't you head up here? Active in regions 2. Sure. So I want to see what fleets we have here. It's only this one at this moment, and I'm going to pull that out of there. We're going to abandon this region for right now. I want to control this region very specifically. So we're going to pour all of our fleets into that, and that'll take a little while for them to get there, but they're starting to arrive now. And we can see that we have 10% naval supremacy at this moment. Okay. So that's going to create a problem for us, but we don't really have very many of our actual fleets there. We can see we've got these guys over here, they're repairing. We've got these guys over here, they don't have an assigned region. They should be up over here. We've got these guys, they also don't have an assigned region. Get up here. These guys are moving to their correct region. These are repairing, and these are repairing. Okay. Once these get there, that's going to be a very significant amount of fleet power that arrives up in this area. So that looks good. I'm going to move this army back to aggressively attacking now that they've recovered a decent amount. If we can push across this strait, that's huge, but I don't expect that we're able to push across this strait. And that's going to make problems for this down over here. For sure. Okay, so our main fleet has now arrived up over here, giving us 71% naval supremacy. That's a good amount of naval supremacy. These guys are actually ready to go, and we're going to do it. So we're going to see what they've got up over here. It sure looks like nothing. It sure looks like nothing. It was nothing. Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to send one infantry unit up over here. I'm going to send one infantry unit out over here. And then the rest of these are going to be offensive lining, ideally straight on down to here, like this. So they're going to get started on that, but their supplies are going to be very limited out over here. We need to build a naval base here immediately, but I'm also going to build naval bases back in these areas, and I'm going to build land fort right here. If we can capture this naval base, that's a big deal, and it looks like we're going to get it. Maybe. They just moved a bunch of troops up into here, but they're low organization. They're attacking us here, which is preventing us from moving, though. Where are our troops that were ordered to move up here? Okay. Yeah, we just need this attack to end. There we go. So we managed to make our way up over here, which is going to allow us to start building a naval base up here as well. That is going to be a big deal, and we're going to connect these together. So that seems good for now, and we'll continue trying to push out of here. Why do we have 20 forces here? I told 2 to move up. Get on back there and make it quick. Okay, now the bulk of these forces made it here, and that's fine. These guys can't move forward right now. That's understood. I'm going to build land forts here, and I'm going to build a naval base here as well. So we're going to get that all linked up like this. There we go. And we need to have one of these naval bases finish. 11 February is the timing on that, it looks like. I want these guys to stop attacking. They are just going to defend from here. I don't want them wasting their supplies until we have a supply line built. So that looks fine for now. We have a toehold up over this direction. And our supplies are holding for the moment pretty okay. So it's 25 January right now. We've got only a small amount of time left before we get some supplies here. Now, we do have a small trickle of supplies from Aalborg, which is a big, big benefit for us at this moment. But it's building in that back line that's really giving us our benefit right now. If we only had this location, they'd be attacking it constantly, and we'd never be able to build here. But as it is, this is going to be done now on 13 February. So that delay is not ideal, but we're working on it. Why are we not working on, oh, right, this is the one being attacked. Okay, so this one's going to be done on 18 February, and this one's going to be done now on 12 or 13, somewhere in there. We do have an area to retreat to, so we can retreat back and then reinforce, in theory. So it's going to take them a while to crack through this. We managed to build some defenses here in the front as well, which is really, really solid for us. There's only one level of defenses, and it's a damaged level. But it's still very good that we managed to get that done. That's going to make it much harder for them to push us out. But look at this. It's the 10th of February now, and they haven't managed to push us out yet. They're sure trying. It's the 11th. It's the 12th. And there's that naval base. We now officially have supplies here. Now, I'm not immediately trying to push them out here. They are struggling to hold this, though. And we do want to make sure that this is motorized and this is motorized. We're going to need more supply flow over here. Okay, our justification of conquering Assam is now finished. So we're going to come over here, and that's this one? Yeah, that's this one. Perfect. So we'll send that, and we're going to attack out over here. This is going to be an offensive line that's just straight up like this. Cool. This is E15 up here, not C34. So these guys are going to go ahead and get started on that. And we'll see if we need to bring in reinforcements over there. But I kind of doubt it. Okay, so that's underway, and if we need to bring in reinforcements, we've got plenty of reserves. So up over this way, we can see they're still extraordinarily heavily attacking us over here. And we don't have all of our forces assigned to this right now. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and start telling them, go ahead and attack. Now that we have supplies here, we're going to start trying to relieve some of this pressure. We can retreat back. That's not a big deal because we can reinforce right up over here, and we're about to have another level of naval base out over here. We should have this one done fairly soon. Where is this? It is done. It's right here. Okay, beautiful. So we can then get that motorized as well. Excellent. So obviously we need more supply flow coming through over here. There's no doubt about that. But we have enough that we should be able to hold this position and even start to push. They have a lot of forces over this way, and this is a fairly weak force that we have here right now. But if we can take this position, that gets us a level 5 naval base, and that is a ridiculous thing to get at this moment. They're attacking very, very steadily here. No doubt about that. They really don't want us to hold this position. But I don't think they can keep this up. I really don't think they can keep this up. And we're going to get more levels of naval base built in the backline. So that looks good. I want to check in on their manpower. How much manpower have they spent on this? Okay, their manpower is still a little bit net positive. So let's check in on this situation out over here. Looks like we have maybe pushed a little bit. Yeah, we've definitely pushed a little bit here. So that's all looking pretty decent at this moment. We'll just continue to push in over this way. I'm not too concerned about that right now. This up over here is still mildly concerning, mostly because of the levels of land fort that don't exist here right now. They've been attacking this extremely constantly. We might get pushed out of this position, but if we do, in the back line here, we've built this up to a level 5 land fort, and we're continuing to build that up. And they're really struggling to dislodge us from this position. I'm going to stop the attack over here for now. That's this attack. Because I want to let our naval base build up a little bit, or potentially bring in a tank unit like this one. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to assign this tank unit here. I'm going to delete this offensive line, and this tank unit is going to get the offensive line that the previous unit had, which honestly, I'm going to get more aggressive with it. We're just going to go all the way down like that. So we're going to start bringing these tanks in. They should not take very long to get there at all. No, don't go that way. No, don't go that way. Go by sea. I know that you're not going... No valid path to target. What do you mean, no valid path to target? Go from this naval base to this naval base, and then go up into here. It's not a big deal. They're refusing to do this. Okay. So I think what's actually happening here is it's not going because it would damage the supply. I'm aware of that. I want to just get the shock attack in there very, very quickly. I'm going to tell them to attack and see if that forces them to move in. It does not. Okay. So I guess it has a 100% chance of being detected and intercepted. Okay. So I guess we need to move these guys over to convoy escort. Maybe that's what's going on here. Okay, so right-click to transport the units to this naval base. It will require 253 convoys. That is what I want to do, and it will be intercepted, but maybe that's okay. They're not going to be there for very long. I didn't see an interception so far. So now we're able to bring them over, and I want to bring them up to the front. Come on in. I know your organization isn't great. Come on in. I want these guys back on patrol at this moment. The idea here is we get the tanks to the front here, and we get them to attack basically immediately, right down over here. But we're immediately being attacked, and I want to launch an attack over here. There we go. We were able to launch the attack. That's what I wanted. So now we're attacking out over this direction. They're still trying to attack us in this position, but if we can open up this front a little bit, take this naval base, this is going to be absolutely huge. And it looks like we can take the naval base here. Maybe. We're working on it. Anyway. So this naval base here is a level 2 now, and this naval base is also a level 2. So that gives us some additional ability to provide supplies over this way. We're definitely going to need it. Okay, these attacks aren't going so well, but at this moment, the tanks are at least the ones attacking and are not taking supplies from the infantry. The main problem there, of course, remains that our supplies here aren't great. But we did finish our justification out over here, so I'm going to declare on this. No, I don't care about their focus. I'm going to declare on these guys. There we go. And they should automatically be fully attacking over here. Well, maybe not these guys. They're going to frontline, or rather offensive line, up to about there. Cool. So they're going to get that done. We're still fighting over here, so that is noted. I do want to start justifying on Z32. And we're going to start justifying on Bengal as well. Actually, no. I'm going to do Bhutan. 105 days? Done. So that looks good. Okay, out over this direction. We're still holding the dawn of the Asian Pact. Okay. And Z02. Where's Z02? That's these guys. Interesting. So these are almost certainly going to be called in. I'm going to bring in some forces over this way. It'll take them time to get there. But that's okay. So up over this direction, yeah, Z02 joins. That's understood. So for now, this insane battle out here continues. And in the back line, we're just continuing to build up our naval bases. We're now at a level 2 naval base up over here, and we're continuing to make progress on this. We're going to get to a level 3 naval base on 14 May, so that looks good. And we just managed to push them here. However, did we just take stack wipes? No, they took stack wipes. Okay, we didn't take stack wipes there. That's good to know. So we managed to push them here, which will relieve some pressure here. Only some, though. The real question is, can we take this naval base? And we're getting there. If we get that naval base, that's going to be absolutely enormous. But it's going to take time. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we'll deal with whatever this is. It's going to be very awkward indeed. Very, very awkward. It looks like we're going to get pushed out of this area. That's fine. That means that I'm going to move this army to be, instead, up over on this side as well. So we're going to just place them up over here, and we'll have them offensive line. It's going to be all the way down to here eventually, but that's fine. Okay, so we'll get those forces over there. They'll arrive eventually. Cool. But as I said, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to push through Scandinavia's mainland holdings over here, and then we'll be able to start attacking them across all these straits. But this is going to be a problem. We're going to need to absolutely make our way over these at some point, and that's always an issue. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Spock, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.